Welcome to the UpStreamLife.com. I'm your host and founder, Vishal Krishna. My guest today is Sanchit Malik, the co-founder of Pazcare. Pazcare is all about customizing your insurance. Yes, customizing your insurance in the corporate that you work for, where employee benefits are in place with what you want. Okay, and that is what we require today. By the way, this interview is brought to you by Finverse.guru, a financial upskilling app. Finance, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is very important. You cannot ignore it, even if you're an artist, even if you're a musician, even if you're a journalist. So get into that app and learn finance and scale up. Skill up, that's what I say. But enjoy this interview with Pazcare. Sanchit, how are you? Thanks for being on this podcast. I'm so happy to have hosted you. Simply because, insurance is something that I always bought out of fear. And, I've been in the industry for 22 years now, and every time I got insurance, from a corporate, never used it, didn't know why I got it. I still have a collection of those cards, that's that thick now. Pazcare is interesting. Today you're customizing insurance. You're saying, we can ensure that there's transparency in the way companies use insurance and how employees get their benefits. Right. That's the fascinating aspect of it. You should tell me what Pazcare is about. I've given you the introduction. Yeah. Tell me what Pazcare is, and then we'll go into its history and why you did it.
So Pazcare is an employee benefits suite, which helps employers in providing more benefits in similar costs and digitizes the whole experience of providing and administering the benefits that any employer is providing to its employees in just 2 lines. Yeah,
that's a good pitch. And what's different from the old days? Like I said, it's not customized, one of that. Yeah. Right. How is it different from the older days?
Yeah, so see, as we started from like early 2000 till we have come here into 2023. So what has happened is that all the industries, right, starting from sales, CRMs, everything used to happen offline. And this is one space where it still has been happening offline. So the whole idea is that from administration to accessibility of benefits to claiming those benefits, everything was happening over phone calls and emails, right? And it was very broken, right? If you ask employees are not aware of what they're getting from their employer. If you ask employer, especially the HR, it has been very cumbersome for them to administer what they are providing to the employees. And they manage everything over phone calls and emails, and then they become a customer support agent for the employees whenever they have a claim, right? So what we are trying to do is we are digitizing all of that, and not only that, because we are digitizing, we are able to enable more benefits as well, which were not there before.
So now the HR is no more trouble, right? He is free to actually ensure that because it's a platform, like you said, the journey is important. Yeah. So let's look at a typical usage. So the employee has a health benefit. In the old days, there was a card. He goes to the hospital. He says, "I need a checkup done," and then I provide this card, and then I talk to a call center agent, right? Right. And then I have to go report to HR that I've used this benefit, right? Right. That was how it was. Correct. But today it's completely digitized.
Yeah. So from for example, 90% of the claims. So first is accessibility of the benefit, right? So, earlier HR used to send you physical cards, right? So now, and the cards used to take almost 20 to 30 days.
Yeah, mine used to come in a month. You were right, absolutely.
Yeah, 20 to 30 days at least to issue the cards, and they give you physical cards. So in this case, as soon as you join, automatically your employee benefits platform gets created, both on mobile and web, where you can immediately access your digital card. And not only that, this is more from the accessibility front, but yes. Then when you talk about claiming the benefit, right? So say 80 to 90% of the claims happen cashless because they fall under the network, especially in the insurance, like in terms of the network hospitals of the insurers. But the rest of those claims also happen very in a reimbursement manner. So all of that was actually manual, right? They used to collate the documents and used to send. In our case, since we are integrated with the TPA, so the whole process of reimbursement is digitized. The whole process of cashless is digitized. And as you mentioned that you used to inform the HR that you have claimed, in our case, as soon as you reach the hospital, the employer gets to know that there is a claim going on.
So in this time, multiple parties you mentioned. So there's the TPA, in which you manage. Yeah. You're also broker yourselves. You have a license, so
Yes.
that helps,
Yeah.
right? So the HR gets a dashboard knowing what they bought from you,
Yeah.
right? And then the employee doesn't have to worry about anything. Just show the digital identity, and that's that.
That's all. Yeah.
Right? It's just like any insurance that you buy today, but it's
Correct.
completely digitized.
Correct. So the platform.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry. So the platform is actually sort of integrated with insurers, with TPAs as well. So it helps people choose what they want, and then it makes it the administration piece very real time, because all of that what was happening manually, now because the software is integrated with the insurance carrier software and the TPA's software, so everything happens real time through APIs.
Okay. How did you go about convincing each of these stakeholders? I know employees will listen to the HR.
Yeah.
How tough was that?
Yeah. So see, I mean, I believed in any industry, right? So I tell my team as well. So there are early adopters, then there are followers, and then there are late adopters, right? So I think it's very important when you're bringing something new in the ecosystem. So definitely there is a demand for insurance as a product, right? But whenever you are going with something new, which was not there before, you have to look for early adopters, right? So that's what we did, and there are progressive HRs and there are who want to be ahead of the market, right? And luckily we are working with almost 1,000 of them today, who supported us initially, who loved this new idea of what we are doing, and that everything is getting digitized, right? So
Great point. New age versus the older economy companies.
Yeah.
You would probably serving the new age customers more.
I'll say we are servicing. I mean, any company can be progressive, right? So even a company which is a manufacturing company which has been there for almost 15 years, so they can be progressive, and they are ahead of the market, where they want to sort of be digitizing their whole ecosystem. They want to provide better benefits to their employees, and they want to have everything digital in their sort of the suite of their internal operations, right?
So the whole companies are also changing.
Yeah. So it's not
any
just
particular example. Don't name them.
Yeah.
But how have they changed? If you have an older company coming and saying, "Hey, Sanchit, we want to change. Can you help our HR understand InsurTech better?"
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Yeah, definitely it does, right? So, I mean, I have seen that there are, especially HRs, right? So, first of all, I've developed a lot of respect for this function, right? Like how they are very sensitive about their employees, right? And they want to give like an amazing experience. So I've seen a lot of HRs doing that, right? In pharma companies and in manufacturing companies as well. And we have some, like for example, we have a customer in Pune, Chakan. So they decided to go with us over a traditionally old company which has been there for almost 100 years in the US, only because the whole experience which is being enhanced for their employees. So I think I will say that it's you can find some section of HRs who are more progressive, and some are followers. So we are in this nascent stage where people are transitioning from offline to online. People
are open to that change.
Yeah.
You keep saying experience.
Right.
It's interesting you said HR people today care about the experience of their employees.
Yes.
Is that the fundamental aspect, or when you say experience, it's the experience of every stakeholder, which is made easy?
Yeah. So, I mean, experience is one thing. So it has been for a very long period of time that people want to provide more benefits as well, right? I mean, it's amazing that how HR leaders or people function leaders are actually now thinking about that. See, around like half of the lifetime we spend at work, like rest of that we spend at
home
or sleeping, right? So majority of the time, major part of your life you spend at work, and I think with keeping that in mind, I think it's phenomenal that many employers today are going way ahead, and I mean it's very for me also
building a family-like ecosystem.
Yeah, you can say. I mean, or maybe creating an ecosystem which gives them a very good platform, right? So they can just go and focus on work and and be more expressive. And employers are not just thinking about salaries anymore. I can feel that. I'm talking to many of the customers, and they're very sensitive, even in terms of claims. The employees should not have a poor experience there. So I think that's actually inspires us to be perfect in what we are doing.
Okay. Yeah. Sanchit, many of the HRs also look at insurance in a way of cost saving. They want to reduce the cost of the premium every year. There are people who look at insurance that way also, and they provide it, like you said, they could be the laggards in this. Okay, they should become the doctors rather.
Yeah.
So if HR people are listening to this, would you tell these senior guys that look, it's not about reducing the cost of the premium, and if you work with us, you're going to get better experience, like you said. But do people look at it that way too? That, okay, how much can I reduce the cost for the company this year?
Yeah. So see, I mean, any Indian customer or any customer, right? So they want best in the least as possible, which is okay. I mean, that's how our behavior and even I, if I am there, so I also want to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but the thing is that it also depends. I think HRs personally, I have felt they want to provide more, but actually I felt that it is also a function of how the organization is performing as well, right? So if you have the good profitability in the company, it also depends. I think it comes from the CEO as well. That's what my take is.
Foundation and values of the founders.
Yes. Values of the founders, values of the CEO who is leading the pack. Right, how much they want to be ahead. Of course, in few companies, it's just like, hey, we just want to provide it because we have to do it. But now, I think we are transitioning as an economy. I mean, it's pretty exciting times. We are transitioning from a developing country to almost like a developed country. I think now, even if employers don't want to provide, employees will not come to you.
And then that's absolutely so. Employee happiness is very important. Retention is very important. It's interesting. In one part, a lot of the HRs may come out and say, we want to retain employees, but this is the way you do it. Great experiences.
Right.
Tell me about some of the bottlenecks in the early days when you set it up, 2019, 2020?
We started early 2021, late 2020. Yeah.
How tough was it at that time? Did people get this concept? I know it was also the heart of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So did it make sense as a digital platform for them at that point of time? And what are some of the challenges, if you can highlight?
Yeah. So see, I mean, in terms of starting up.
Yes. So starting up and selling to these guys also that here's a platform that gives you experience.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, I've been a little lucky personally, right? So I built a company previously. So luckily, I've a decent amount of friends who are running companies who are open to try what we are doing. Of course, there were a lot of challenges because initially starting was very, tough because we were a very small setup and we were all remote because at that point of time, I think the COVID wave, I'll say that it has actually increased the awareness about this product also, and they need to care about the employees because during the time when and that was a second wave which was the toughest, right? People realize the value of this product, right? Why they should offer health insurance, why they should offer insurance itself, life insurance as well. Many companies started opting for life because we lost many of our co-workers family members, co-workers during that time, and all of us have been impacted, right? So actually that also accelerated the need of this product, to be honest. And you won't believe, like 40 to 50% of our customers are first-time buyers as well, companies. So we have many companies who are actually first-time buyers. So in a way, I mean, I'll say that it actually created a lot of need, and it made easier for us post that to actually convince people.
Okay, interesting. So the fundraise aspect of it, I must mention, quickly at a seed stage, there was 3.5 million raised at that point of time, and then to an 8 million raise, pretty rapid. That shows the belief in the industry and the market size, right? I think it's Jafco Asia that invested recent round. Right? How? Did you ever believe in these 2 years that you'd raise such a large round and it could happen? So what did the investors feel like when you were selling this idea to them? The market size is huge. Like you said, there are laggards, there are early adopters, and the people who are innovators or adopters, very fast adopters, right? So,
see, I'll tell you about the market, right? So the market, it's India is going through one of the most exciting times. I feel that, right?
I agree with you.
Yeah, in terms not only the I think the financial services market will be the growth of the financial service market is the signal of how the how the economy is growing, right? So when it comes to insurance, right, it is growing in double digits. So that means like for many financial years the market grew almost 20% year on year, which means like it is doubling, right, every 2-3 years. And there was one of the reports recently which I read, that today the insurance market, only the insurance market is around $100 billion in India, and it is expected to be $500 billion in next 7 years, which is little optimistic, but I think if people are projecting like that,
even if we do half of that,
it's a massively growing market. So, and the reason for that is, especially in the health, right, is it's a very underpenetrated market as well, right? So, I mean, the kind of awareness people have about this product today is 100x more than what we had in 2005, and that is the reason. That is the reason why many of our parents don't have health insurance today. But today, even the young people of in their mid-20s or 30s, they have health insurance for themselves.
Okay, got it. Sanchit, you talked about market size, and that's fascinating that India is growing so fast. But on the back of it, there's also the fact that India, in insurance penetration is the lowest.
Yes.
Especially health insurance. They say it's only 5% or less than 5% of the total market size. If corporates are offering health insurance, should young people also buy health insurance outside? And it's kind of advice for them on how should they look at health insurance now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I and one of my friends, Ajinkya, who runs this company called Vint Wealth, right? So, we have a philosophy which I also got from him, is that, see, I mean, before, I mean, it's a friendly advice, right? As an individual who is that, like three things. He says that we have a framework called the framework. So, which is term insurance, health insurance, and emergency fund. So, what we are seeing today is that everyone jumps into actually put money in SIPs, right? Yes. Yeah, in mutual funds,
which is what's been marketed all the time.
Yeah. So it's good. I mean, it's a wealth creation tool, but at the same time, right? As soon as possible early in your life, I think it's very important that you have health insurance, you have term insurance, because you'll have dependents, right? And even if you are a single earner, so it's actually extremely important to have term insurance today, right? So if anything happens to you, you are well covered, your family is well covered. Then comes the emergency fund. So the kind of markets today we have it's very fluctuating, right? So one day people are getting 100% hikes. Second day, I mean, we are seeing huge amount of layoffs, right? So I think so markets are very volatile, right? So I mean, and they will always be. I mean, markets will keep on moving up and down. But I think it's very important that whatever your monthly spends are, at least you should have 6 months into monthly spend. 6 into monthly spend, so that even in case you lose a job, you're not on road, right? So, and that's these things are very important to have, right? And why early in life? So if you, like, for example, if you're 20 years old, right, and you buy term insurance, the rates are so cheap for the same amount of cover that you buy when you are 30 years old, and the value of that money keeps on decreasing because of inflation, right? So I think it's and health insurance, right? So like every now I'll cover the health insurance in detail, right? So our companies give us like 3 lakhs worth of cover, or maybe 5 lakhs, and they have some caveats around that. If you have a very nice employer, they'll give you a very good cover. But it's extremely important that you have cover till 25, 40, 50 lakhs, right, as a top up. So you can, as an individual, you can buy a top up over and above the health insurance which you have from the employer. Okay. So many people don't know that once they leave the company, they have an option to actually convert that company's policy into retail cover. Yeah. Wow. And your waiting periods are also waived off. people don't know that.
So I didn't know this. I had a company for the last 15 years, but when I left, I went and bought another cover.
Yeah, so like for example, you stayed in a company for 15 years, you could have all your waiting periods waived off once you were leaving, and you could have converted into a retail policy. So I think that's very critical. I mean, it's very important for you to know if your employer is facilitating that for you, and you should talk to them. And by IRDA regulation, it is insurers are bound to provide that as well. So
okay, now if I'm part of a company that uses Pazcare,
yeah,
and I go to a company that uses Pazcare, another company, can I port?
So you have two options. The porting can happen only from group to retail.
Yes.
So for example, if somebody is a part of a company which provides insurance through Pazcare, and then let's God forsake, he gets laid off, right? The person can convert the policy into retail. But if you switch, then you don't need to. Okay. I mean, then you don't.
You're getting another one.
Another policy. You don't.
That's a very fascinating point that none of us knew. For me, this is news. I didn't know that, and I'm glad people watching this should understand that young people should have the framework, like term, health, and emergency funds. And in terms of working for somebody, you can also, if you work there for more than 3-4 years, you can actually convert. That's something that's what else should we know about? There's so much that we wouldn't know. Yeah.
So see, most important thing is, see, majority of the claims are less than 5 lakhs in India. But see, we buy top-ups for any unforeseen incidents that might come in my lifetime, right? So it's actually, majorly for critical illnesses, right? So if somebody has cancer or these kind of diseases, then you are actually, if you have a top-up, then your expenses will get covered through the top-up, because then 5 lakhs is not sufficient, right? So, and see, if you can afford, then you should actually buy not top-up, buy a retail policy as well, if possible, right? So, but there is a duplicacy there, but just to be on a safer side, because you are already getting from the company. So I think that these things are pretty critical to save yourself from critical events that might come in your lifetime.
Yeah. Sanjit, the other thing is, Pazcare is not just about insurance. It's also about benefits.
Yeah.
Many years ago, in 2006-07, I wanted the company to pay for my gym subscription.
Yeah.
And the company said, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Same thing in 2015. I was a little older, but suggested it to my juniors, but they said no. But now it seems employees want benefits,
right?
And you guys facilitate that.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so see, I mean, like the most three critical things are health insurance, term insurance, and accidental cover. So which are being facilitated by the employers. But over and above that, right? So insurance covers you for majorly for secondary and tertiary care, and then you have primary care or preventive care, right? So I mean, if you see, majorly the people who are in their 20s or 30s, so not many of them will get a claim, right? So, but you want to provide those kind of benefits as well, where there will be high frequency of usage, which leads to like for example, if somebody is in 30s, everyone wants to have a health check done annually, right? So once in a year health check, somebody wants access to doctors, somebody wants access to discounted medicines, and over and above that, mental wellness. So it's actually, in today's time, especially after pandemic, the need for mental therapy and mental consultations has increased. So very progressive employers want to provide that. And beyond that, I mean, things like gym membership or anything related to preventive care like fitness is also sort of part of in Pazcare suite, right, in providing benefits. But benefits don't stay till health or insurance, right? So there are financial benefits as well, right? So employers want to provide benefits which give more money in the hand of the employee, so that they save taxes, and over and above that, now there are things like people asking for salaries also faster. So we are sort of actually providing like a full suite benefit product for the employers to sort of.
And the dashboard is available to them real time in case of these benefits also. Say that Vishal's gone and got himself a gym subscription.
Yes.
And the company is okay to pay for that?
Yeah. So many companies are doing that today. So, and that also sort of excites me, right? So I think we are going, I mean, if we, we're going in a very good direction as
You
an
mentioned
organization.
mental health. They're
Yeah.
doing that too.
Yeah, very regularly. It's
Seriously?
it's very normal now. Yeah.
How does that work typically? That I go to a mental health consultant, and obviously HR, in all discretion, has to maintain secrecy.
Yeah.
That these individuals want to go to a mental health consultant because of the pressures of work.
Yes.
And that's also possible today. I can discuss that with HR and they'll enable that through Pazcare. Or I choose it on your app or something as an employee.
Yes. So it is provided for everyone by the HR and the employee. Anyone who wants to access, they access via our app with our partner service provider, and then all of the secrecy is maintained, and the data is not shared with any employer about that.
Okay, it's not shared. That's
not
I
at
want
all.
to get into data privacy. It is private. In terms of your team, I want to understand. There's so many layoffs out there, and like when there's opportunity, there's layoffs on one end. You built a great team. How important is team building at this point of time when there's so much negative news out there, saying some of the large unicorns are letting go of people? One thing is they should also realize that they shouldn't have unicorn expectations. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
They should go work in a place that's wholesome. How important is that for you as a second generation entrepreneur? Not second generation, but second time entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How important is team building for you?
See, I think I feel that building a company is not one man's job, right? So you have to take people together with you from building a strong leadership team, and then building a very good second and third level team, so that you just don't stick together only in good times, but you stick together in bad times as well. So markets will keep fluctuating. I mean, that's out of our control, right? So last 2 years, people were able to raise money very quickly, and the market was having a lot of liquidity, but maybe next 2-3 years that won't be like that, right? So I mean, last year people were having a lot of appraisals. This year it might not be there, right? So I think the more important thing for me is, first, my principle is that if I want build a large company, two people cannot do that. Yeah, we started this, me and my co-founder, but it's a 30 people leadership team, and they should become owners in the company. Literally, owners should be there, so that then we as a group can build this whole institution together. So I have a philosophy that before any benefit, my key people at least must have really good ownership in the company, and I will fight for their liquidity in whenever I get an opportunity, right?
No, that's fantastic. I think that comes from your previous experience.
Yeah.
Right. You built Townscript. Part of Book My Show now.
Yeah.
Did that teach you that how do you build companies that last, and therefore how do you value people also?
Yeah. So I think the biggest learning from, I mean, I was pretty young, and I was in 20s at that time, and late 20s. I mean, around when I was like 26, 27 years old, my company was bought over. I realized the value of equity. Having equity is, I mean, see, salary helps you spend like for your day-to-day expenses.
That's it.
But equity,
it's like a working capital.
It's like a working capital, right? But equity helps you in wealth creation.
Absolutely.
So I think that learning, even if people haven't seen, like, I mean, many examples, like, I mean, really great companies like Razorpay or Mindtickle or Paytm. These companies have done buybacks for their employees, or some people made money in the IPOs and all of that. But there are very few examples in India right now. So, but I mean, after experiencing myself, I said, like, even if the good guy doesn't value stocks, I'll still give him or her, because after 6-7 years, they should not feel that, hey, I slogged so hard, but
didn't get
anything. Yeah.
Wow. Where does this philosophy stem from for you? I mean, I'll get into the product and software in a bit. Because we are sticking at this subject, does it come from your values from your younger life, working with your father, who was a professor in the agri-sciences department, I think, or in agri-science college?
Yeah.
Did he build these values for you at the time, or was it just at work that you built these values also?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, like all the foundations are done by our parents. So, but at the same time, I mean, that's my way of succeeding, right? So I don't want to own 100% of nothing.
That's well said.
Yeah, so I'm okay to own some small bit of something which is very significant. I mean, as as an individual, my philosophy is that to create something which is valuable rather than just monetary gains. Yeah.
Talk about your childhood. I mean, I brought that up. How important was the role of parents for you?
I mean, for every child, the mom, dad, both are inspirational. But I mean, my dad actually influenced me a lot during my childhood because he was so passionate about what he was doing. I mean, he was a professor of organic chemistry in Haryana Agriculture University. What inspires me the most is that my grandfather, I mean, they were well off, but they were in agriculture. And he actually was the first PhD from our family, right? Okay. So, I mean, one of my grandfathers was a lecturer.
You came from an education family, a very academic family.
Very academic family. And my dad was so passionate about his patents. And then after that, I mean, actually, he decided to quit his job from university, and he started preparing, because he was so good at chemistry. So he started preparing people for these kids for IIT JEE and PMT, and he produced like All India Rank 5 in JEE, IIT, and then AIMS.
From your hometown?
From my hometown, and he was one of the most popular teachers there for preparing for JEE at that time. There were no Byju's or Ellen at that time. So, and he was so the idea of leaving a government job from somebody who was
safety.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Government job, it's safe. It's really safe. Everything's paid for. You live in the government quarters.
Yeah,
right, and you got pay commission hikes that come up every now and then.
Correct. And the person who was born just after the freedom, like 1947, right? So so independence, right? So because the transition of the economy has been like, we just want to be safe, right? So that's why people went for government jobs. And the idea of taking risk and resigning from a government job, it always touched me a lot that my dad took a risk, and nobody in my family has been into...
He just remained an independent teacher.
Yeah, he remained an independent teacher, and we had an academy. My dad had an academy, and that inspired me. And he was so passionate. He used to wake up at 5.
That's where the entrepreneurship comes from.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
so you went to Maharashtra for your engineering, and then from there on, did he say startup? Did he say go work, or did he say go do something on your own?
So what I've felt is that I think what I observed, I mean, from my parents' behavior, my dad always wanted me to take the safest option, even though he took a risk, because he just wants me to always wanted. Now, I mean, I'm grown up, so but he wanted me to, like my brother, he did his masters and then he went to the US. So my dad wanted me to
take that route.
To do the same.
You must be pretty happy with the press that you're getting. And does he understand the fundraising and wealth creation aspect which you're part of in India? Does he like that? Does he talk to you about it?
Now he feels pretty proud. I mean, I had got a job in Deloitte and he wanted me to go there, but I never went for that.
I'm glad you did not. Otherwise, you would not build this company. Yeah. But it's interesting. So he's played a major role in your life.
Yeah.
Okay, coming from a small town to getting into the startup world in the early, we talk about we're all first generation entrepreneurs.
Yes.
How tough was it at that point of time starting up Townscript on your own? Obviously, it's now part of Book My Show and this. Have you changed as an entrepreneur from then and now, last 10 years?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one thing which is very, very important, which luckily shaped my career was getting a chance to work in Mindtickle, right? I was there. I got referred by my brother's friend, my brother, in the company, and then they said like, hey, if you sort of get internship certificate from the co-founders, which is Mohit Garg, Deepak Divakar, Krishna, then it will really help you in getting your MBA school when you prepare for GMAT at that time. So, but I think I was running one more company with my friend Ish. It's called Padharo during my college days, and we were featured in, by the way, in your story also in 2011. And then they really, I mean, it all actually like it all started building because and I got really good mentors, right? So because I worked in Mindtickle was a 15 employee company at that time. That was in 2011, and I was one of their first few interns.
Okay.
So I think then
that changed you.
That more importantly, then Mohit actually really helped me a lot. He helped me connect with my co-founder Sachin in TownScript, right?
Wow.
And then he has been with me, and of course Deepak has also. I mean, both the founders.
So one lesson you learned of starting up was to protect equity. That was the first lesson.
Yeah.
Has that changed over the last 10 years? Now it's different, right?
Yeah.
You're a different personality from 10 years ago.
Of
would
course.
You say?
Yeah.
How has the transition been? When I say transition, would you say your negotiation skills are better now? Your sales skills are better now? What do you learn? Because at that time you're an engineer. You must have built product.
Yeah.
Right. Today you must be wearing multiple hats as a founder.
Right.
What? I mean, did that happen naturally, or did you have mentors also?
Yeah, I think I was lucky to have mentors, as I said. Right now, today also, I mean, I'm lucky to have really good mentors like Harish, Zishan, and Mohit, Deepak, who have been there. Zishan Hayat and
Yes.
Harish Chawla. Right. So, I mean, for different stages you need mentors. I believe that, right? And I've been lucky that way. But see, I mean, in terms of personality change, I mean, I was very aggressive when I was graduated.
Really?
Yeah, I was very aggressive in terms of execution. But
You're a coder. Or
I am a business guy,
Okay,
business
business
development
guy,
guy. Yeah.
okay.
So, but then as you grow, I mean, with time you get a lot of failures, and then luckily, I mean, many of the things, like I'll say, I think the experience of TownScript, seeing the whole life cycle of the business. Now I've learned a lot of things, like for example, setting up things like CRM, right? I mean, I know. I mean, at that time, many things were first time, and at that time, I think not many things were easily available as well.
Yes.
Now it's very
2012, 13 was very different.
yeah. So
those are things that are different now.
yeah.
And you as a person are more mellowed down.
Yeah, more experienced, I will say, more mature.
And you're still aggressive in terms of sales, though. You do a lot of the high level meetings yourself.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, I'm little hands-on, but lucky to have a great team as well. So, but I think you have to transition yourself at different stages of the company as well. So, I think, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Product.
Yeah.
Everybody says you need to know technology, this technology, that technology. You know, people suddenly say you need to be a Python developer. Suddenly people will say you need to know, some kind of Node.js, React, or a combination of all these. What do you tell young people today out there? Just cut through the complication, know your logic, or, know your foundation level coding well, and everything else is sorted. What would you advise them?
So I'll say that I think it's very easy to educate yourself today. I mean, when I was in college, we didn't have Coursera at that time. I mean, there was, but it was not so popular. There were not a lot of content on YouTube.
Yes.
Very educative content is easily accessible, but at the same time, it's very distracting as well, right? So you get very distracted because of internet today. But I think the whole thought process here is that whatever you do, right? So initially, it's very important to understand what your interest area is. I will not say that you should become a coder, right? So if you have interest, of course, then you should. It's very easy. Go build things. And there are huge amount of opportunities today, right? So in every field, right? So, and as an economy, we have grown so much. Now people are thinking about becoming musicians, which was not there like previously, right? So, but at the same time, I think focus is very important. I mean, thinking long term fundamentally is very, very important, because sometimes I've felt that, I mean, we do things for 3 years and then we just switch different companies as well. So I say that why at least spend 8 years in a company. That's my philosophy personally, because you see the long-term effect. Of course, the company has to be good, right? So you see the long-term implication of that. So I think consistency and long-term thinking.
Consistency, no distraction.
Love
what you do.
And discipline, right? So I think these are the basic fundamental things in whatever you do.
Okay. We were younger, a few years ago, and now we are getting older, obviously.
Yeah.
What's the current crop who are coming to work, very different in terms of expectations? Like you said, they have, it's easier to learn now. There's content, there's distraction also.
Yeah.
How is the behavior like of employees today? A lot of expectations?
Yeah.
This work from home concepts also kill the whole thing. Is everyone asking for that too? How different are they in behavior?
Yeah, I think people are very well informed today, relatively, right? It's because of the accessibility of the information, right? I feel people are much smarter than when we were a few years ago, because as more the startup ecosystem, at least I have been in startup ecosystem, I see that the kind of talent today is, phenomenal, right? So overall, and as I said, that there's some really smart people in my team as well, and everything is really because of the accessibility of education and information, that has become really good. But at the same time, I think as the country is growing, things for employers also have become competitive in terms of the expectation, again, on the benefit side, right? Work-life balance, right? And these things are important, right? So, it's a sign of, I won't say that, I will say it positively, that it's a sign of economy also getting matured, right? So, which is a good thing, right? So, every company has a culture, but we are primarily office, but we have a philosophy behind that hey, we are social animals, and we should meet, and we are able to move things faster relatively. But overall, I see that things have matured a lot comparatively
than the last 10 years.
Last 10 years.
I agree. Where is the India journey going? I mean, you are very positive of it. I'm very positive.
Yeah.
I think young people are smarter, demanding. I think they will add to the economy.
Yeah.
Perhaps what are the few things that we should do, right? I mean, one thing is that internet can be distracting, and perhaps the work that can take 2 hours, we take 6 hours, maybe that, I have a pet peeve, right? That Indians take more coffee breaks than anywhere else, because if you go to California, I was stunned. They come in at 8, they drink a coffee, but the next coffee break is only during lunchtime, and then they leave.
Yes.
It's very, in our place, you're right. We're really social animals. Maybe it's our culture also. We like having our chais and coffee and chacha.
Yeah.
It's good for ideation.
Right.
But the new India is, what will shoot us in our foot? Or are we going to go and crack it for the world today?
I'm very optimistic about India personally as an Indian, and I feel we are lucky. I mean, if you are in 20s, 30s, or even 40s, you're at the right place at the right time. If you compare with what's happening across the world, and this is our decade, and even next decade as well. So it's a really nice opportunity
to build for the world.
To build for the world, to build for our country, and take our country to the next level. I mean, it's very heartening when we see things like the infrastructure development that's happening in the
UPI. That's fantastic. The roads, the airports are getting better.
It's phenomenal. We are the new developed. We will be the new developed country. So I think there will be ups and downs. Right. So, of course, we had COVID and things like that. But I feel we are going, as an economy, we are going in the right direction. And I see a lot of innovation happening in our country itself. And when it comes to overall thought process, I think we'll do well. Of course, government plays a very important role also.
Stability is very important.
Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny. The other day, I asked a kid, do you know Sachin Tendulkar? He said, I don't know. Then I realized India is young.
Yeah.
India is really young. I think they only know Virat, plus they know Shubham Gill and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. That means India is now changing rapidly, even in sports. My most important question to you is, this has been very inspiring for me. And I hope all the HR guys realize that India has changed. So I help that India grow and enjoy their life better, and use Pazcare in the process. What do you do privately? Do you get time to read? Do you get time to, go do sports? What do you do? Or any recommendation for our audience?
So, I personally, when it comes to I like to spend time with my wife and travel with her. And secondly, I love playing badminton. So I'm a badminton player. So that's what I generally do on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah.
So keep yourself fit. That's the message.
Try to be.
Fit India is a better India also.
Yeah.
So keep your mind fit. And if you're an HR person, or if you're a founder who wants to understand insurance better, talk to Pazcare. Sanchit, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.